Right, good morning everybody. It's a cold but beautiful morning. I must admit I got here a little bit late, and because of that I've just been spending loads of time running around crazy taking loads of photos. I've got a few videos I'll share, but it was the most beautiful red sky for this sunrise, and now we've got the mist come through, so perfect time to stop, relax for a minute and talk to you a little bit more about my camera, or my lens in particular. So I've been wanting to do a review on the 24-120 Nikon Z lens for a while now. I've had it for nearly 3 months and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It's the only lens I've got with me today. It's the only lens I think I'm going to need. So yeah, enjoy this video. I'm going to talk through some of the stuff I got today, and then I'll show you some photos taken in low light conditions, so like London for street photography, also landscape based stuff, sunrises, sunsets, and you can see for yourself if you think it's a good lens. I think this is the perfect pairing for my Z5. I think it complements it so well. I'm so happy with my gear right now and so happy with these conditions. I mean, incredible. One of the other benefits about this lens is the 100-20 capability. Like, I really like this composure up here with the tree. So what I've done is I've zoomed right in on it. If I show you, come out, sort of straight in at 120. I just really like that as an abstract shot. It's a little bit noisy down here with the trees around there. Could go a little bit higher, but I can play around and get some of these shots, which is just an amazing ability of this lens as well. I'm shooting everything around at f9 at the moment. I'm on a tripod. Yeah, lovely. The other thing I want to talk about with this lens, can you hear all the geese? So yeah, the other thing I want to talk about with this lens, which I don't think has enough, people don't say enough about it, doesn't, and I think actually it probably needs a bit more credit for where credit's due. So it's the minimum focal distance. Now I know I could be closer here with that, but just to kind of show you, I'm doing f11 because I want to try and get as much detail in as possible. But that's fully zoomed in. And it's just beautiful. I mean, if I quickly show you an f4 example. I'll put them on screen now and you can have a little look, but I just really don't think people will rave about this enough. It's a really nice touch that you need in the very rare scenarios, but just offers that more versatility for the lens. I hope you enjoyed today's video, or being out with me shooting with the 24-120 and the Z5. It's been beautiful, but I think now let's go back to the studio, let's go through some of the images and I can warm up. And we're back in the office. It's warm, I've got a coffee, life is good. So let's talk a little bit about the specs of this lens, in particular the 24-120. So it's got a 77mm glass on the front, diameter. Great for letting in more light, as compared to the 24-200mm 67mm. That means that this is a little bit taller, a little bit wider, a little bit thicker lens, but that's okay. But you do obviously lose that in weight. So in terms of a weight capacity, the 24 to 120 is 630 grams, as opposed to the 24 to 200, which is coming in at 570 grams. So it's 60 grams difference. It's not much, and when I pick them up now, there's barely anything in it, if I'm being honest. So I don't think weight is a real issue here. I think it's more down to focal length than anything else. But obviously bear in mind, if you do have the 24 to 200, your filters won't necessarily work on this one as well. Something that I found out, so keep that in mind. The only other thing I wanted to talk about as well is the number of blades. So the number of blades on the 24 to 200 was 7. And then stepping up to here from the 24 to 120 is 9. And that's really good when you want to get those beautiful light flares coming through. If it's like nighttime street photography, or if it's capturing the sunrise or the sunset, and you kind of want to get those really nice flares coming through. So just something to keep in mind. Now, let me show you some images from some of the trips that I have done. So I had this camera 3 months now, just over 3 months, and if you look at some of the stats at the top here, looking at my 2023, 2024 folders, you can see I've taken 1,578 photos on this lens, which is pretty good going in 3 months. And you can see it's, as compared to what I'd taken on the 24 to 200, sort of halfway there, considering the amount of time I had it, as a lot of photos. And if I really filter by like 4-star images, I've got 38 of them that I think are really good. I'm not going to go through all 38, but I just wanted to show you a snippet of some of the ones that I think would be worth talking about. So starting off, let's look at some of the low light, or let's look at some of the sunrise capabilities for this lens. So this is probably a really good example for that. So this was taken at ISO 125, f9, 27.5mm on that. You can see what I was saying about the blades and getting a nice sun flares sort of coming through there. Beautiful image, as you see, sharp edge to edge. No real complaints about this lens at all. But zooming in at 100, zooming at 200. You can see obviously a lot of the detail is there. Really good in those conditions. And I've got a few more examples as well. So I took this one that you saw in the video earlier. I mean, look at the colour range on that. It's just absolutely beautiful. Zoomed at 200. Obviously, it's not going to seem as clear, but this was a misty morning. So, obviously, you won't get the full detail, but it just shows you in low light conditions, this works really, really well. If I show you another sunset, this one, you can see on here as well, just captures the colours beautifully. Yeah, like I say, some of my best photos have been taken on here. So that's kind of your sunrise, sunset sort of styles. There's loads I could go through, but they're the sort of main ones. And just another one here where you can sort of see the details, the colour. It's just beautiful. That's 100. That's 200 zoom. Yeah, incredible. So the other stuff I want to talk about, I'd like doing street photography as well, especially up in London. So you can see some light trails here at St Paul's. I mean, that's probably my favourite photo I think I took last year. And I took a lot of really good photos. That's quite a bold statement, but just captures all the colours lovely, the lines, no distortion, nothing. Fantastic for that. Another one on Millennium Bridge, same sort of thing. Yeah, just fantastic colours, fantastic light. You can see where I've managed to get all the lights come through over there. Just absolutely love this lens. It's so sharp, so sharp. Zoomed in at 200%, incredible. Took some of Tower Bridge as well. Now this is where I started to get a little bit worried about this lens. If you look at this photo here, can you see all these sort of marks on the lens up here? I was wondering why this was happening when I was doing very long exposures, and I was kind of thinking, is this the lens? Is it not the lens? Turns out after a lot of research, it's not the lens. It's dust on my camera sensor, which is actually needs a good clean. But originally I thought this was just happening because of the long exposure of the lens, or maybe a defect with the lens.
100% not that. I quite like the style, actually, the little sort of like baubles. But obviously you don't want that all the time. So yeah, I thought it was a lens issue. 100% not a lens issue. I need to clean my sensor. So there's some of the sort of low light street stuff. I've got another one here about to see if you want to see. So what that can look like in some of its capabilities as well, and the details when they're sort of zoomed in as well. Cool. So then coming on to sort of more woodlandy style stuff. Yet again, lower light conditions, not beautiful sharp sunlight. I don't tend to shoot in those ones anyway, so I don't have too many examples, but I know it's absolutely fine. But you can see on here, 200%, another misty morning, but you can pick out all the details. Beautiful. Got another one here. I was just trying to capture the light on these trees. See details there at 200%. You don't even need to go that, even 100. You can see it's absolutely incredible. Super sharp. Now, for those that haven't seen some of my other videos, I shoot on the Nikon Z5, which is the entry-level full-frame camera. So if I can get this quality photo on an entry-level full-frame, imagine what you could get on the Z6, the Z7, the Z8, the Z9. Yeah, you're just going to level up even more. More woodland stuff. So I did a little bit of sort of close-up photography. I don't have a macro lens, so it's not macro, but close-up photography. And you can see, this isn't my area of expertise, so you can see there's a few focusing challenges there. But when it is in focus, you can see this sort of level of detail that you're getting from that as well. So it's really good for that. As I mentioned earlier in the video, this is really good for doing close-ups because of its short focal length. They're the main ones I really wanted to talk about in terms of examples. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, stop there. So in terms of a conclusion, I don't think I've got too much else to say. I think this is a fantastic lens. I don't think you could go wrong buying this lens. This is, I don't know anybody that's been disappointed that's bought this lens. The focal length just gives you so many different options. It means I can carry one lens around. I don't need to worry about that. I know I'm going to get the quality. There's no compromise like you'd get with the 24 to 200s. I'd say the only reason you probably wouldn't buy this lens is if you were wanting a lower aperture. I don't shoot below f4. For landscape photography, very rarely. I take ones of my wife, ones of myself, photos of a dog. f4 is perfect. I don't really need to go much lower than that. I'm not shooting in really dark, low light conditions. And if I do, I'll use my prime lens. I'm absolutely fine. I've got a 50mm prime lens. So I think unless you really want to stop down to 2.8, then get the 24 to 70. But I think for most people, and especially just landscape photography, you really don't need to go that low. So this is perfect. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again soon.